Hi Cancer, I'm Chi. Welcome to my channel. I am new to YouTube and I'm excited to read for you the tenacious tenderonis of the zodiac, the Cancers. I feel a lot of passion. Ooh la la, I had some flyouts to talk about that passion with you too. Ooh, gentle now, easy, easy. What's going on? First thing that jumped out for us is the Knight of Cups in reverse. I'm reading with the Diva deck, and it is a 5-suit deck, and I'll explain it to you as we go along this time. So, in reverse, this guy doesn't stick around as much. If we're talking about offers, steady offers, love offers, business offers, business. We are in a gorgeous Mercury retrograde for the entirety of, well, you know, basically all of Aries through a little bit of Taurus before we come out of the shadow. And so what is happening with this person now might not be very permanent. So have you been honest in this situation and expressed your needs as you're putting in work? If this is a work matter, have you said your rate? Are you getting what you need for what you do? And people are coming through. We don't have time for any empty promises right now, because any kind of disappointment will be pretty agonizing. So we want to be dealing with this person. If this is you, Cancer, you want to be dealing with people on very clear terms. And if you're feeling, I don't want you feeling pulled apart, and I don't want you pulling apart other people. You know, you're strong, you're very strong, and people don't, because your strength is an emotional and an emotive and a moving kind of way. People kind of skip your strength sometime, and then the tenacity comes out and you pick it apart. So we have to be honest. And I feel like this is hurting a lot. There's some people out there that this is heartbreak, because it can be saying what you needed and then being like, not so much. And not even like, not so much, I'm sorry, but like, no. And that kind of energy of, and you should have known, kind of like writing on the wall. Didn't you see the writing on the wall? Which isn't fair, because we keep trusting people and we keep drawing to our guidance. This is our first Triax card for your reading, and this is the 10 of Triax, and it speaks to the first hints of guidance. So this is the first soothing after this pain, and it is, honey, I'm sorry. And you were brave. You're brave, and you faced the worst, and you took it. So how do we not put ourselves, how do we read the tide for signs and be honest with ourselves and take guidance? And if you can't quite see it as taking your own, and if you're not at a place of your own intuitive guidance, because sometimes we are pretty caught up emotionally and we are wrapped up mentally and we can't hear ourselves, who can you hear? What can you listen to? How are your dreams coming to you? What are the messages that are there for you? This match was not ever complete. It did appear complete a lot of the time, but your idea, and this is actually going to come to pass through the through April, and move into resolve as we move into Taurus, because we have a little Taurus down there telling us that this card is about that time of the season. And this is very Saturnal. So he or they are not taking any prisoners. And it could be one of these times where you're like, oh, it'll work out, they'll change, they'll shift, it'll be this and that. They are not gonna. And that's good, because there's probably other things in store for you. So if it's in the realm of relationship, you are looking for the guidance and strength to carry on. If it's in workplace, project-based work, somebody might not be coming through on their word, and you will have thought that everybody was on the same page. And if the Three of Swords was in here, I would say that it would be like everybody really did think they were on the same page, and then it turns out they're not. But because that is there, and this is that strong, not very gentle, mental energy that picks things apart, I'm going to say that there's some manipulation going on here, and they knew, and you super need your guidance counsel to access that. How do we access our guidance in this? Oh my goodness, we have a whole story that popped out here. Using your cunning, your bravery, your strength in this battle. And it's, sometimes people just, you fooled me once, shame on you. You fooled me twice, shame on me. Just because something went astray doesn't mean you did something wrong. It's throwing you off balance, and you're tormenting yourself, but this had to change. And so you're going to be moving into a space of stillness to find the emotional balance again, because this has you. Let me tilt it up a little bit. You do not have to question the entirety of your being and your way of being and your way of doing, just because the result that you thought you were going to get didn't come. You can assess it, and yes, be sad. Let this tower take what she needs to take. Sorry, we had a snowstorm in New York, so there's some loud trucks outside. Let it take what it needs to take so that you can rebalance yourself. The Tower and the Death card have so much in common, because the Death card is when we're for me, it's a more internalized transformation, where this card can feel like the rug got swept out beneath me, but it's still that transfiguration. It's still this must be transformed for me to go on and get the growth and the life that I'm creating. This has to happen. And I wasn't gonna, so the Tower is, I wasn't gonna do it myself. So my soul, my guides, and everybody I've cast in my life or in this scenario had to show up and do it for me and make it look like I just bought that, like something has visited upon me. But really, it's my path. I have chosen it. These are next ones. Cruising into, and let's go ahead and carry on. Carry on. Don't kick yourself. No kick yourself. There's nothing good that comes of it. You never lose by letting go. If something is supposed to reform, it will, but this is our Princess of Triax. If something, she can't come to a resolve. And that's really good to go along with the Nine of Swords type energy, which is the mind just, when we agonize and when we slay ourselves, and in the reverse, and just it wants to lend itself to turning this into despair. When this is like, remember when people used to like rent the carpet cleaner from the grocery store, and it was like this huge big deal to clean the carpets, and it was wet and you couldn't walk on it, and it was just like, it caused an uproar in the house growing up. That's like that. That's this. It's time to move forward. You're gonna have to let yourself resolve to move forward and to integrate. This just came up. I can't remember who this just came up for, but this Five of Swords talks about the road ahead. You know, we can only see what we can see in the road ahead, and we have to keep going on the guidance. The path you're riding, the pain is a part of working it out. The pain and uneasiness in the tower, and excuse me, this tower reversed, coming in with this Wheel of Fortune in reverse, is here to tell you that the pain and the discomfort is a part of working this situation out, working through this karma, working through. You needed it, and you totally have the strength to muster, to move through it. And it seems like, since there's not a lot of people showing up, this is you in that indecision. And if you can turn that space of indecision into the space of possibility, you'll be mighty more all right than if you force yourself to fit in somewhere, because you're wanting to get yourself easing on down the road, moving on along, and you have the strength to do it. It's just a matter of balancing out the emotions in the war with yourself. And you're going to need a lot of stillness. You're going to need that quiet time. You're going to need that to build the reserves back up, to find the strength to see the path ahead. I feel like there's a couple more cards in this story as we come through. How do we move through this towards, let's see where we are, mid in April. Second week of April. Stillness, but getting more guidance, starting to hear, and moving out of entrapment. Really important that you take an active measure in letting growth come. You have to really accept right now, and there she is, that growth is change. As in Octavia Butler, Parable of the Sower, growth is change. Everything you touch is changed. Everything. I'll put the quote down there because it's escaping me at the moment. But for you to get out of this rut, we're gonna embrace this change, and we're gonna this is not owning it. This is owning it, taking agency with it. And in this, see, this is just so green and fertile. What do you want to create? What do you want to make? And she's underwater. She's moving through water. That's a space for you. You know, it's Scorpio card, but in the space of water. And who is the Scorpio that can be helping bring about these changes? Find your agency. Take your agency and go with it, and own. These are just, baby, own it and be soothed. Your major arcana rock for this one, because you have the strength to deal with it. You really do. I super promise that you do. We're all funded. We're all equally funded from spirit to move through the lessons that our soul has brought us to. And so you're going to not agonize yourself. You're going to create ways around that. You know, I don't see a lot of physical activity, but I do want to say that you do need to get active and moving this energy through your system as you voice what you want. And don't be afraid to be judged. And, you know, sometimes there's moments when you might have to go ahead and say, like, everything is all screwed up. I surrender. Everything is all screwed up. I know this reading presents a lot of challenges to you. I'm going to now close this out with a Secret Dakini Oracle card or two. We'll see what they want to say. And it's intense. It's an intense time. It's an intense time in the world, and it's an intense time in people's personal lives. And if you don't exercise compassion and patience with yourself, how are you going to attract it? How are you going to get that? These are for you. These three are for you. Wow. This change is real. This change is straight up real. Get out in nature. The trees call you. The trees call you. So we're going to read for these three from here. The end of things, the death card, number 13. The end of things is previously known. Breaking the ties, the breaking of ties, the death of the old self, paving the way for regeneration and enlightenment. The removal of fears through confrontation. The awakening of spiritual awareness, possibly through a traumatic event such as illness or through inner realization. The reconciliation of opposites. Abstractions or a state of inertia needing a change of outlook. Death as the door to the beyond. The post-death states, a bardo, an intermediary psychological condition. Change, transfiguration, and the realization of new opportunities. Tree spirit. Just Mr. The solution to a problem that has been puzzling the mind of the questioner through relating to the problem, through relating the problem to natural cycles of forces. Rid the mind of all concepts about the details of things and try to see the basic nature in clear simplicity. And in progression, tree asylum. Find a place of refuge and recuperation, free from all worldly concerns. Believe in the powers of imagination and take up a position of contemplation with regard to any particular question or problem. Trust the pure potency of intuition and you will not go astray. This card suggests a feeling of well-being when left alone, away from worldly problems. It is a magical omen of positive order, the precise influences of which are determined with the reference to position in the Tree of Life chart. So, I want to say this is in our guidance. This is the order and order. So it would be, if we were doing Tree of Life, we didn't do that, but I'll be doing some of those. It would be in the time in the season you knew this had to change. And you're ready for it. Just nurture yourself. Nurture yourself. I hope you enjoyed that and that you'll like, subscribe, and tell me how it connected with you. And I have a welcome to YouTube. I'm welcoming myself to YouTube, and I hope you'll welcome me too. $10 for 15-minute reading, and I'll send you a recording. And for $20, I will do a 30-minute reading by Zoom, and you'll get a little video like this. All right. Have a beautiful day, Cancer. You got this.